Have you just been through a breakup and you're stuck wondering just what the heck happened? Maybe you ended a relationship and you're wanting to get back out there, but you're really unsure about it. So before you dive headfirst into the online dating apps, give this video a listen. This week, we're going to talk about writing a letter to yourself and why it can actually help you before you dive headfirst into online dating apps. So, close Bumble and let's get to it. I'm Jen. I am a self love coach helping busy, undervalued women learn the art of self love through micro tweaks to their busy lifestyles with mindful moments of gratitude to help find deep love and worth within themselves. It is my mission with every video that you watch that you can know your worth just a little bit more. So, writing a letter to yourself. What do I mean by this? Why would I be weird and write a letter to myself, right? One, why you're deciding to be single. And this can kind of do like a twofold. If you're wanting to intentionally be single for a while, but you haven't been in a relationship, then write yourself a letter of, hey, you know what? I'm intentionally being single and this is what it's for. If you're just getting out of a relationship and you're kind of like, hey, I'm stuck, I'm done being stuck on this cycle of unhealthy relationship after unhealthy relationship that all lasts anywhere between 8 months to 2 years. And I'm ready to just kind of step aside for a while and just work on me. So, the why you're deciding to do this is insanely important. It's for like those when you have those days of wanting to go back to the old and comfortable. Like, say you just got a relationship, say you ended it, and you get into a funk and you're like, well, you start to only think about the really good stuff of that past relationship and completely forget all of the other bad stuff. So, writing a letter helps you to remember, before I go back to that person, even just a text message, before I go back, I'm going to read this letter and remember why I don't want to go back. So, number one. Number two, what are your intentions for this time? I.e., do you want to work on physical, like do you want to work on your physical health, your emotional health, your mental health, your professional health, and your family? Do you want to spend more time being with those that you love, or do you want to spend more time working on your career? There are 1,000 reasons why you can choose to be single. And big, 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 big side point here, you don't have to have anyone's approval of whether or not what you want to do with your own life. You don't have to have anyone's approval of that. It's your life. To keep yourself focused on what you're trying to do in a certain period of time, write what your intention is for the time period. So let's say, for example, after my last relationship ended and I realized that it was the same relationship 4 times in a row with 4 different people, I decided, you know what, I'm going to be single and really just work on myself. And I gave myself a 1 year minimum. For some people, it can be 6 months. For others, it can be indefinite. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do it. But for me, I can only talk about me. I realized that I need to be single for a certain amount of time in order to break some patterns. And in that time, I was insanely intentional about it. Was it 100% every single day? Of course not. There were a couple months where it was like 20%. But most of the time, like, so for a year, I'd probably say about 9 months was 100% intentional working on me, working to get better, unwrapping some really hard stuff. And so I had to be very intentional about what I was doing beforehand because there was a time in that time when I wanted to get back out and dating, where I wanted to just go on some dates to meet new people. And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. I mean, if you just want to go and meet some new people, do it. But going into it, no, it's not going to go anywhere. If I go on a date, it's just to go out and have a good time and just to go and meet new people, nothing more. So that way, if it kind of like snowballs into something, I'm doing something for me. So unless you are 100% solid in, I can go back out and date again, awesome. Unless you're 100% solid on that, just kind of like nix in the bud for a while and just stay focused on you. Trust me, it'll be totally worth it. Number 3, if you're curious about whether or not you're ready for a new relationship, I'm going to be 100% bluntly honest here, and I'm probably going to step on like a lot of people's toes, but is the person who wrote the note still you? What I mean by this is, say you wrote the note to yourself today. Okay, so say today is like day 1. Say that you have all these incredible things that you want to work towards with this new intention. Say that, I want to heal some past stuff, kind of go through, really find the underpinning reason why I'm seeing all these things come up constantly. And so you write yourself in this letter, hey, like I'm really going to stick with it. I'm really not going to let anybody new come along in the sense of like relationship, but I'm really just going to focus on figuring out why I'm seeing this pattern, why I'm unhappy, just why. There's so much stuff comes with heartache. But so that's number 1. So in 6 months, say I'm making myself 6 months to just kind of start to really figure this out. And in 6 months, you're like, hey, I'm ready to go like start dating again, get on all the dating apps and just get out there. But then you look back at that letter that you wrote to yourself and you're still that same person. You didn't do any of the work, and you can look back on it and be like, you know what? I'm going to cycle this through again. Or you don't read that letter. You go back out on dating sites. You continue the cycle that you were already in. And then you read that letter again after you finished that new relationship. And then you're like, oh, I'm still the same person I was a year ago. What I mean by all of that is, have you grown from the experience of writing yourself a letter? Have you worked on yourself to the point where the you that is writing the letter is not the you that's reading it anymore? When I wrote my letter to myself, I was a very different person. I was very broken. Didn't let anything bother me. It was a joke I would make very easily about, like, oh, you think you hurt me? Well, you can't hurt me. I'm impenetrable. And I didn't realize how toxic that was, for me at least. Because at a certain point, I wouldn't even show emotion to my daughter or my family or my friends. I didn't realize the person that I was completely blocked off from my own heart. And so after going through all of the healing work, after experiencing a lot of dark stuff about myself, I've realized that the person that wrote that letter like 2 years ago now, 2.5, I'm not that person. I mean, I'll cry at like a TV kid show because like my daughters will watch something and it will be slightly heartfelt and I will just start like, oh my God. And my daughter's like, Mommy, what's wrong? And I'm like, it's so emotional. I can't handle it anymore. For real, I will cry at anything. And I love it because I used to not cry at anything. I felt no emotion. And by feeling no emotion, yeah, I didn't feel the bad stuff. But you know what else? I didn't feel the good stuff either. I didn't feel the super like, oh, you are such a wonderful person. I'm not in love, not the like, I'm in love with you. No, like you are an incredible person and I love you. I couldn't feel that. I had become so disconnected from my heart that I was numb. So when I look back on the person that wrote the letter 2 years ago, yeah, she's a different person. She doesn't even exist anymore, to the point where even my friends can say, I'm not the person that I was 2 years ago. All of that to be said, is the person you are writing the letter the same person who is reading the letter in the future after you've taken the time that you intend to take? Because if you are still the same person that is the person that wrote the letter, then just say no. Say no to that relationship. Say no to that new opportunity and continue to work on yourself and focus on you. Because trust me, in the end, it will work out and it will work out in your favor. If you are a different person, then yeah, go for it. Go for it. And if you find something else in this new relationship or new whatever it is that you're going to get into, and you find that it's not in alignment for you, then go and learn from it after it's over, or go and learn from it when you're in the middle of it, because every opportunity is neither good nor bad. It's just an opportunity to grow and become the better you know you can be every single day. So, needless to say, some points need to be made. What this letter is not. This letter is not bashing people who have hurt you in all the ways they screwed up. If you want to write a venting letter, which is what that is, do it. Just write out some rage on some paper. It's not a letter to yourself, though. What the letter is, it's the realization of why you left or what you learned after the relationship ended, what went wrong, what your mistakes were, and how you can grow from it. This is also going to be really hard to hear, and I say it in the absolute most loving way possible. A relationship takes two people, and a lot of the times it can be mostly one person. Sometimes both people equally mess up. But if you were in a relationship with a narcissist or an emotionally, mentally abusive person, or someone who completely just made you feel like a victim and undervalued and everything, the way you messed up was, and I'm trying to cry. I can only say this with the utmost love, because that was me. I was the victim. I was always the problem. I would let people walk all over me for years. Friendships, family, relationships, everything. I let people walk all over me. And the day that it set me free was the day that I realized I was allowing it. And it hurt. It hurt so bad to realize I was the cause of my own pain. And so if you need to go through that pain of realizing it, then cry it out. Cry. Let it out. There's no need to keep your emotions bottled. But you do have to take agency for what you have done in the past. In order to get to a different tomorrow, you have to take agency over your actions. So the day that I realized that I was the victim, it was the day that I chose to start learning how to love myself enough to never be the victim again. Because when you're constantly the victim, it takes a part of your soul. And so that's what I mean by understand what you did wrong. Did you get into a relationship and that was the reason that was the one thing you did wrong? Absolutely not. It's not your fault. But what you did do wrong, maybe, is you didn't know. And a lot of it is unknown, completely unknown, 100%. Because I didn't know I hated myself until I finally said it. I didn't know that I hated everything about myself, that I had lost who I was. I didn't know that in the middle of it. But when I got out of it, I started to realize, man, you know what? Like, I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know what I want to do. And then I started realizing I don't even know. And I knew nothing about myself. I decided to no longer be a stranger to myself, to figure out who I was, and to figure out how to love myself, regardless of my past. So, whatever your mistakes are or were, learn how to grow from them, because in the end, that can be the one thing that you rise up from completely. In a sense, the letter is a promise to yourself, a look at where you were, a road marker, and a promise to yourself that regardless of what happens, you will continue to move forward. I hope that you see that you are so worthy of healing and growth from all of your past mistakes and missed relationships, so that when you're ready for life, you may be whole and complete to be your own soulmate and constantly choose you. If no one else tells you today how absolutely incredible you are, I'm here to tell you that you are immensely worthy of all the dreams that you have. You are the culmination of the divine in human form expressing itself through your one of a kind life. Go and be the incredible supernova that you were born to be and shine. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, share, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to be notified when new videos are released. And until next week, I hope you dare to love deeply and live boldly, because you, in fact, are worth it.